anticipating a success.
How is it in there?
Yeah, you can breathe and you have space. Yeah, good.
Hi, I'm Larry Gray. I'm the designer of the kayak, and I'm going to show you how to get the most out of your boat. An important skill to learn is dexterity. Learn how to switch your blade from surface to surface. Each move should take just under half a second. It'll give you instant bracing when you need it. Practice lengthening and shortening the paddle length to alter leverage. Maximum leverage gives greater control over both ends of the kayak. Using different leverage points along the paddle shaft will increase control and reduce the chance of a shoulder injury. Bracing your wrist or elbow or paddle shaft against the side of your kayak in stern rudder is another energy reducing technique. Effectively, your wrist, arm or paddle shaft becomes the fulcrum when you need it. Rotate your upper body to be more in line with the kayak. This takes the strain off your shoulders. Your knees should be braced, tilting the kayak left or right to use the shear of the bow to keep you in line. Leaning the kayak to the offside while in stern rudder is another way of drifting the tail by using the side of the kayak to release the keel. This slow hands paddling style with relaxed rhythm is one I use on long trips. Fitting in with where you are and conserving energy is the key to long journeys. The regular paddle stroke should include good shoulder rotation, relaxed grip, and it's pretty much widely known. But there are other styles. The normal paddling position is just outside your shoulder width, around there, holding the grips pretty much central. Downwind, I shift in like that to about there, and I paddle from the gut. Developed in the Arctic, the low blade style is the only style that can access fast reaction in harsh weather. They also developed this gearing technique. If my hands are out wide, my paddle is like that, my arms are working fast. As I move them in, my body's moving less, but my paddle is moving more. That's a great advantage if you want to go fast downwind. Just like on a push bike downhill, pretty soon you'll need to change gearing to match the speed you're travelling at. There's no point in spinning your arms around faster than what you have to. When I'm on brace alert, I maintain this low hands technique with minimum shoulder rotation. But even then, I still use the gearing technique to maximise my performance. Another big advantage of this low paddling style is that the blade catches little wind and you're in a prime position to brace. Don't look at his kayak, just check out what he does with his hands. Greenlanders use all of their paddle constantly. I highly recommend learning these techniques. Don't see these techniques as advanced. Get onto them as early as possible.
If you fall in the water, you die in a few breaths. The kayak must be part of your body. It must fit you like a sealskin.
In slow motion with this old footage, you can see the hand changes taking place to maximise control. Power extended to the left. Brings the paddle back to normal position. Power's extended to the right. He extends back to the left, brings the paddle back to normal position. Power's extended to the right, then back to even blade. By extending the paddle shaft and presenting a flat blade to the water with an edge slightly raised, you can gain complete command of your kayak. You maximise leverage, slow down the sink rate of the paddle, and gain incredible manoeuvrability. With the paddle out behind you and leaning on it, it becomes a pivot point so the boat will spin around easily. Just see the paddle as a tool, not just a form of propulsion, but a tool to be used in many ways. The J-stroke is a manoeuvre performed at the back of the boat by flinging water underneath the keel. The extended J-stroke sets the tail of the kayak into a beautiful drift. But notice, the blade enters the water at a 45-degree angle to become half support stroke, half power stroke. The same applies in a double. Use the side of the kayak as the rocker to pivot off. The paddler in the back can effectively drift the tail of the kayak with a wide sweep. Sculling the blade is good practice for reliable bracing and rolling. There are many different kinds of rolls you can learn. I recommend just polishing up on one. After that, there are two more handy ones you can add to your arsenal. They'll see you through most situations. This simple roll here is known as the polata. It's step one. One of the main tricks that can help your luck once you're upside down is put your head, lean out closer to the surface so you almost got your head up to the face of the water. Then do your roll. This way you can get a much better hip snap. If you're hanging directly upside down in your kayak and try to roll, it's much harder. Raise your head up to the surface on the side that your blade's on, so that way you can get a better hip snap. So I suggest, as you go over, lean forward, but lean over to the side of the blade, the side that you're going to roll up on, so that your head is facing up, close to the surface. Okay, you can roll now. So, can you? The answer is no. You can always roll when you're staged, but the thing is, if you're not prepared, when you're not ready for it, you've got half a breath and you fall over, that's when you need to roll. If you get toppled over in a wave or wind or whatever, and you're not prepared for it, generally you think, oh shit, I've fallen over, and you try and pull the cover off and get out. But the thing is, you can't roll unless you can do it unprepared. So, one way to practice that is set up with your paddle in the air, holding it by one end, tip over any old way, and then try and set up underwater. That's as close as you can get. Next thing you can do is practice this at speed. So paddle along flat out, lift your paddle in the air with one hand, just fall over any old how, grab your paddle and try and set up and right yourself, because you're not really rolling unless you can do that. One breath. Pretty soon you'll want to hang around inverted just to enjoy the scenery. Completely relaxed in the environment with friends that also need air. Sculling the blade is a way of slowing the rate in which the paddle sinks, and that buys you more breathing time. Imagine you've got yourself into a spot and you can't get out of it. Forget pumps, life jackets, bailing out. You're left with only one option, and that's prepare to roll. Notice the blade enters the water vertically. This is to avoid shoulder strain. Stay with your boat right to the bitter end. Relax underwater and go for the most secure roll you know. This one's called the Palata roll. It gives you more power in aerated water. We're going to practice now the re-enter and roll. Imagine you've been chucked out at sea and you got to get back in. It's rough, windy and wild and wavy. You can't climb over the back, you keep toppling in. So what do? You get back into your boat, then roll yourself back up. If conditions are really rough, you put your splash cover on underwater, then roll up. There may be other reasons why you want to get in quickly. So rock your boat backwards and forwards a little bit. This captures more air inside and displaces a bit of water. You grab hold of the cockpit coaming, then roll yourself backwards into the kayak. The quicker you can hip snap, it means less water gets in your boat, less water you got to pump out. Here's an example.